श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Okay, we'll chant from number 7. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriyah sarvabhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi na lipyate naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tatvavit pashyan shrinvan sprishan jigran ashnan gachan swapan shwasan pralapan visrijan grinhan unmishan nimishan napi indriyani indriyartheshu vartanta iti dharayan brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha lipyate na sapapena padmapatramivaambhasa kayena manasa buddhya
कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या
केवलैरिन्द्रियैरपि
केवलैरिन्द्रियैरपि
योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति
योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति
संगं त्यक्त्वात्मशुद्धये
संगं त्यक्त्वात्मशुद्धये.
Today we have to do 12, I think. युक्तः कर्म फलं त्यक्त्वा
युक्तः कर्म फलं त्यक्त्वा
शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्ठिकीम्
शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्ठिकीम्.
अयुक्तः कामकारेण
अयुक्तः कामकारेण
फले सक्तो निबध्यते.
फले सक्तो निबध्यते.
Again, युक्तः कर्म फलं त्यक्त्वा
युक्तः कर्म फलं त्यक्त्वा
शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्ठिकीम्
शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्ठिकीम्.
अयुक्तः कामकारेण
अयुक्तः कामकारेण
फले सक्तो निबध्यते.
फले सक्तो निबध्यते.
So in this chapter, 5th chapter, a comparison was made between Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. And then that was done till about the 6th, 7th verse. And then from the 8th verse onwards, Karma Yoga is further elaborated. And because it is so important, Karma Yoga Vishishyate, Bhagavan said in verse number 2. So Karma Yoga is superior than Jnana Yoga, like that is said in no uncertain terms. So why it's important? Why we should not ignore Karma Yoga? Don't take it for granted like that. So Brahmanyadhaya Karmani Lipyate Nasa Papet. Lipyate. The person is unaffected by what happens, what is being done and what happens. Now, that seems to be the recurring theme here. And beautiful shloka number 11, I like it very much. Kayena manasa buddhya yoginaha karma kurvanti. These karma yogis do, but lead their life. Karma kurvanti means lead their lives. And how do they perform actions? Just by their mind and sense organs and buddhi, intellect, etc. And by their limbs, as though other people have other special techniques to perform actions. No, it's not like that. Kevalaihi. So when they perform actions, they're not vitiated. Their actions are not vitiated by anxieties. Many of us don't do things because of the anxiety around the outcome. Fear of the outcome is always there for everybody. So those kinds of things will not be there for this person. And therefore, that's why kevalaihi indriyai. Kevalaihi, just by these instruments given to the human being. And so very beautiful way of saying that the person has this karma yoga buddhi. Okay. Sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaya. What for they do it? They do it for atma shuddhi. Atma shuddhi. So this word atma has many meanings in different contexts. In one context, it will have the meaning of body. Uddhared atman atmanam natmanam avasadayet. We saw that some time ago. Uddhared. Lift oneself by oneself, because one is one's own friend and one is one's own enemy. So what is the meaning of Atma in this shloka where Atma appears? The word Atma appears so many times. So we can see the context is very important. And that's why we can't, that's why those who have not studied Sanskrit properly and use Sanskrit dictionaries and translate these shlokas, and you find the translations all over the place. You can see that. You can see the spaghetti of translations. And so that's why at least the teacher should know, has studied Sanskrit, at least the teacher should have studied some Panini, etc. At least must have heard the word, and then at least should know whom to ask when there is a doubt. These kinds of, at least a burden must fall on the teacher. And of course, Shankaracharya and all, it's good to study all these things, because we may wonder, my goodness, do we have to study Sanskrit to understand all this? Well, to understand all this, you don't need to know even one word of Sanskrit. Why? Because knowledge is independent of language. Knowledge cannot be dependent on language. That I think we are clear about that. And so that's the advantage students have. And so this word yoga comes periodically. Yoga. If you look up the dictionary meaning of yoga, you'll get confused. In fact, looking at the dictionary may not clarify sometimes, and there'll be 15 meanings will be there. What will you use? The word yoga. Here also look at this. Yuktaha. Yuktaha. The word yuktaha comes from the root yuj. From that same root, you have yoga also. Yuj plus ganj pratyaya is yoga. Yuj plus kta pratyaya is yuktaha. And the same root. So beautiful word yuktaha. We've seen it before, I think. We keep seeing it. Yuktaha, he says, for example, number 6, shloka number 6, yoga yukto munir brahma, yogena yuktaha. So both the word yoga and the word yuktaha have the same root yuj. And so in this case, of course, karma yoga. So one who's prepared by the discipline of karma yoga, that person is called a yuktaha. And so this shloka is going to give the meaning of this antakarana shuddhi. The previous shloka, what did we say? Tyaktva atma shuddhaye. These karma yogis, why do they do all these things? What is the use of this discipline of karma yoga? Well, for atma shuddhi, for the antakarana shuddhi, for chitta shuddhi. The word chitta sometimes refers to this buddhi, manas. So manas shuddhi. So all that, for that antakarana shuddhi. So here a little more elaboration on what that antakarana shuddhi is. Okay. So Tyaktva karma phalam. This also we know. Tyaktva. And earlier in the previous shloka also, Tyaktva was given. What was the shloka there? Sangam Tyaktva Atma Shuddhaye. Same thing, Krishna likes to use that again and again. Sangam Tyaktva. Here, Karma Phalam Tyaktva. Elaborating on what the Sangam is. Karma Phalam Tyaktva means not giving up results or not giving up expectations. Okay, that is wrong translation. Expectations can never be given up. Expectations are always there. When you open your mouth, there is an expectation that there is somebody who's listening to you and is actually listening to you. That is expectation, minimum expectation. Person may not understand, person may not agree, person may not, go along with you, etc. But expectation is there, minimum expectations. Okay. So karma phalam tyaktva. So giving up the anxiety over the results of actions. I will do my best and take whatever comes. That is called karma phalam tyaktva. Shantim apnoti. So karma phalam tyaktva includes not taking things personally. So that's, when do I take things personally? When I am committed to those results, and when I don't accept things as they are, when I resist, when I am in denial. They say denial is a word. It's a word I heard as I was studying and all that. Denial. And so denial means denying the reality, basic denial of reality. And so nothing is taken personally because I accept everything as it comes, even if what happens appears to be traumatic on the surface, because life is, it's all not pleasant, and so nothing is taken personally, and I don't project the results on myself. Oh, it happened because I did not do my puja properly. So guilt, all those days, all my parents taught me all this, I forgot. I did not do this, I did not do that. Therefore, God is punishing. So these kinds of guilt can be there. And all past relationships, everything is, one has to embrace one's past. Only then we can move forward. It's very interesting. So we have to, anything that bothers us, we have to kind of look into it carefully, objectively, if need be, take some help, and then process all of that. And so all that this person has done, Yuktaha has done all that, and therefore karma phalam tyaktva, he is able to say, he or she is able to say, I am happy, I can accept whatever comes. And if I have to do it again, I'll do it again. If things don't work out the way I would like, I'll try it again. So like that. And so that person is in harmony with the laws of this world. Is in harmony because dharma is being followed constantly, harmony is there. That's why we always feel good whenever we do the right thing. The right thing can even be just cleaning up the house. Postponing. Finally, one day we say half an hour, 1 hour, I'm going to just reset everything. And so that's because I am connected with dharma. And so when I'm connected with Ishvara, then there is going to be that Shanti will start coming. Shanti starts from dharma only. And so no more conflict. And so that person is called a Yuktaha, and who has a Prasada Buddhi and Ishwararpana Buddhi. So last time I mentioned Ishwararpana Buddhi can be in two ways. One is, hey, these are all commandments of Ishvara. Bhagavan wants me to do all this. Therefore, I follow the orders of Bhagavan. I follow the Vedic mandates. I follow my elders, whatever, and I do what is to be done. That also gives a lot of Shanti, and immense Shanti it can give. And then the other, and then you advance your vision, and then you say, in addition to that, I see Ishvara as manifest in this world. Every object is Ishvara, and Dharma is also Ishvara. Dharma is not separate from Ishvara. That's why for us Ishvara is pratyaksha, means just available for us to appreciate. In every movement and every leaf that moves, Ishvara is there. Every time you hear the wind blowing, Ishvara you hear. And so Ishvara is pratyaksha for us. And therefore, when the dharma is seen as not separate from Ishvara, then when I follow dharma, then I know I am in touch with Ishvara. And so I become a contributor. Swami uses the word contributor here. And I'm not just a passive observer. Oh, I have to do because God asked me to do this. No, not that attitude. You can even go beyond that. I have to do because my role, the world is incomplete without me. The yajna that is going on is incomplete without me. My actions are very important. That's why voting, when they say voting, so important it is. Every person's vote matters. Whenever I see this voting thing is such an important thing, I think that appreciating the need to vote, I think makes a person a little more practical in life, I feel. Because if that person feels my vote, even though it's one among billions, still that vote matters. Likewise, my life matters, my actions matter, everything has an impact on everybody else and the rest of the cosmos. So I become a contributor. And so animals are contributing, animals are doing what they are supposed to do, plants are doing what they are supposed to do. And so the animals are contributing to the whole, the plants are contributing to the whole, WHOLE, whole. Now, what about me? Am I contributing to the whole, or am I contributing to the ozone hole? That we have to ask, right? So we have to ask the question. Our children know more than us these days. They come and tell so many things. I'm very impressed about that. So that responsibility is of course there for a karma yogi, no doubt. And so that karma yogi does things not for fulfilling that person's raga dveshas. We've seen that. And and therefore the person is not bound by the actions and the results of those actions. And that is the only way. That is the only way, because things will not happen that we want. Will not. We better assume it won't happen. We are prayerful. That's why prayer is a very important part of our life, and we do what is to be done. And so expecting that things, I am successful if everything I want happens. If that is my definition of success, then it's going to be a tough journey. I think we all understand that. And so I am successful because I've done whatever I wanted to do and I've left everything to Ishvara. And that is a good definition of success. And so then now I am not depending on my happiness on external things. External things anything can happen out there. And so I cannot rest my fulfillment, my contentment on things that happen out there. I'll try my best, but then I have to accept things as they come. And so that is what gives one the ability to handle things. And so that person is a yuktaha. Swami Paramarthananda says, it seems somebody got a lottery, won a lottery. And huge, big lottery. And the idea of lottery I have learned only in America. Here we don't see that much. You go to stores, you don't see all these lottery tickets. In America, it's like you pay there and this lottery tickets are staring at your face. You have to pull it out and then you just have to pay for it. You can decide, is it $1, $5, $10? This is $100 million jackpot, 200 million. You can choose what you want. It's all highly systematized. My God, there's nothing to beat that. And then in the 7 o'clock news, they will roll this ball will be rolling and they will pick the number out, pick 5 or something. They have all these nice, funny names. And then lottery, jackpot. So these jackpots can run to millions and millions of dollars. And I think the biggest number was probably 600, 700, 800, even $1 billion, I think. Shared by a couple of people, 3 people like that. I've heard some stories. Anyway, this man won huge lottery. Now, if he comes to know of this person has a weak heart, it seems. And so he's going to collapse. He's going to collapse. How sad it is, Hey, all along you worked for this money. And finally you got $10 million and then you collapse. It's very sad. I don't know why Bhagavan has made us like that. It's pretty sad, I think. And so then the doctor was called, Dr. Ji. And then Dr. Ji said, I'll take care of that. Don't worry. And then so the doctor had a dialogue with this person. And so what will happen if you win $10 million? What will you do? $10 million? Yes, $10 million. Suppose you win, what will happen? And what will happen? Then I can do a lot of things. But you know what? You've been the best doctor and you've been taking care of myself. You've been taking care of me for a long time, and because of you, I'm happy. And so I will give half of that to you. And the doctor heard this, and the doctor collapsed. Okay, so because this is a true statement. So this is how we are. And so now who is to protect the doctor? So therefore, this attitude, Antakarana Shuddhi, is so important. It's all attitude. They say everything is 90% attitude and 10% what happens to you. Like that I heard long ago. Maybe that's a true statement there. And so Therefore, this Karma Yoga, once again, Swamiji makes the point to say Karma Yoga is not a technique. Not a technique. It's not a breathing technique, even though pranayama is very useful to you. It's not a technique. Karma Yoga is not pranayama. Pranayama can be included in our life, but not technique. Karma Yoga is not a technique. It's a vision based on understanding realities and therefore accepting Ishvara as all pervasive. And therefore, whatever I do is not separate from Ishvara. Therefore, everything can become a yajna for me. That is Karma Yoga. We've seen all that. And so, and so here, what happens to that Karma Yogi? Apnoti, Shantim apnoti. Apnoti means gains. That person gains Shanti. Shanti. You know, konja nimmadi venum. All of us want nimmadi, right? Nimmadi means in Tamil and other languages. Nimmadi means some peace of mind we all want. Peace of mind. My mind is all in pieces right now, but I want some peace of mind. And so that Shanti mapnoti, this Karma Yogi gains that Shanti. And what kind of Shanti? Naishtiki Shantim apnoti. Naishtiki, not ordinary Shanti. See, there is relative Shanti and then there is absolute Shanti. Relative Shanti is this composure that is born of Karma Yoga Buddhi. Karma Yoga. What did he say? Krishna say in chapter 3, verse number 3. When Arjuna asked the same question, he said, Bhagavan said, Lokesmin Dividha Nishta. Nishta uses the word Nishta. Same word here also. Naishtikim. Naishtikim means what? Born of Nishta. Born of Nishta. It's called Naishtikim. Naishtiki. And so two Nishtas. What are the two Nishtas? Karma Yoga Nishta and Jnana Yoga Nishta. Karma Yoga Nishtha will give me relative Shanti. Jnana Yoga Nishtha will give me Param Shanti, absolute Shanti. There is such a thing called absolute Shanti. And so, therefore, that relative Shanti, Naishtikim here, because it's talking about Karma Yoga, Naishtikim Shantim refers to that relative Shanti. Because a person is already almost free from the impact of raga and dvesha, which we all have. And so this Shanti, the word we have seen before. So in chapter 2, so if you were chanting chapter 2, we will know. And I think the second verse from the last, look up, 2.71. Vihaya kaman yes sarvan pumans charati nisprihaha nirmamo nirahankaraha sa shantim adhigacchati. We saw that word Shanti. So Vihaya kaman yes sarvan pumans charati nisprihaha nirmamo nirahankaraha sa shantim adhigacchati. Okay, so there also, because Jnana Yoga is a topic there, and there we can talk about Param Shanti. That finally there is no death for me. Fear of death is the biggest, is that fear which never goes. And so I am immortal. I am immortal doesn't mean my body, I am going to keep on extending the life of my body. That is not immortality. Body is mortal, but I am immortal. That idea, that knowledge comes because Atma is Avinashi. All that comes. And so there we saw Param Shantim. Here, Shantim Apnoti, that person gains Shanti, relative Shanti, that is born of this Antakarana Shuddhi, Atma Shuddhaye. Last verse we saw that. And that Atma Shuddhi gives this Shanti, he says, this composure, calmness, and freedom from anxiety, relative freedom from anxiety. Okay, so, and so Shankara says that, Bhashyakara says that in his commentary, that there is this Param Shanti and there is this Yoga Nishtha Shanti. He says that, he uses those words. And that Param Shanti, absolute Shanti, he calls it as Atma Prapti, Atma Jnana Prapti Shanti. And the Shanti born of Atma Jnanam is the Param Shanti, like that he says. Or Swarupa Shanti, he uses that word, Swarupa Shanti. Okay, so here Shanti means relative Shanti. So that relative Shanti with knowledge gets converted to Param Shanti, Para Shanti. Then, like in some of the other shlokas, Krishna says Ayuktaha, second line, Ayuktaha. First line is Yuktaha, second line Ayuktaha. Ayuktaha means one who is not Ayuktaha, obviously. And one who is not a Karma Yogi. So one who is not a Karma Yogi means life driven by likes and dislikes alone. And I will get what I want. I will prevent what I don't want. I will keep what I don't want away from me. And I will keep doing this on and on and on. That person is a Ayuktaha. And that person has no idea of Ishvara, need not have an idea of Ishvara. And so Kami, pure, just Kami, driven by Kama. Whatever I do based on what I like, and all this dharma and all that is secondary. Even if dharma is not secondary, religious person, Swami says, religious person, and that person is also a Kami. The person says, I will do all the rituals. Person consults all the astrologers and then does everything so that everything will work out exactly what I want. And so astrologer, life led by all this Shani and this Dasha and that Dasha, all planets, everything is taken into account. And all pujas done very well. Why? Things have to work the way I want. Definition of success is wrong. Look at that. If I can be a very religious person, but if the definition of moksha is wrong, definition of success is wrong, then what? Then God becomes my accomplice. Correct? Accomplice. Hey, Shastra is saying Purnam Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Mudachyate. Hey, he's Purnam, you are Purnam, she is Purnam, everybody is Purnam. What happened to that? And so that question the person doesn't ask. I will please God, so God will take care of me. This idea will not last for very long. And so that person is also an Ayuktaha, not a Karma Yogi. And that person, Phale Saktaha Nibadhyate, Ayuktaha Nibadhyate, That Ayuktaha, that person who is a Kami, not a Karma Yogi, is bound. Obviously bound, because the person is very alert to what's happening, what will happen, alert to all the threats to one's life. So alert he is, nobody can be more alert than this person. But then bound, completely bound. And something happens, didn't work out the way he wants, then there is going to be anxiety and things like that, attacks. And so that person nibadhyate, and what kind, and Krishna uses a word here, phale saktaha. That person's eyes are on the target. Constantly eyes are on the target. Karma Yogi also has eyes on the target. Without that, no actions can be done. But the results are gladly accepted. Whatever happens, happens. But here, no, I'm going to get what I want. And the person is therefore driven by raga dveshas, and therefore there's going to be anxiety, constant anxiety. And therefore constantly on the phone talking, what should I do next? If he's a religious person, will become even more religious. And potentially, we don't know. So that person, phale saktaha. Saktaha means a commitment to the results of one's actions. Saktaha, commitment, attachment. Sometimes we use the word attachment, saktaha. So just devoted to what I want, completely what I want, whatever. Antakarana Shuddhi, I want Antakarana Shuddhi. Karma Yogi also wants. Karma Yogi wants Antakarana Shuddhi. Correct? Everything else is important. It's there. But normal family, everything is important. Everything should work out. Health is also important. But Antakarana Shuddhi. That's what drives the Karma Yogi. And so, and Phale Saktaha. What kind of Phale Saktaha? Kama Kare. That also Bhagavan is saying. Kama Kare. Just driven by Kama. A life of Kama. Moksha has no place in one's life. So dharma, artha, kama, dharma can be there, karma need not be there, but moksha is definitely not there. Kama karena phale saktaha nibadhyate. That person is also describing. So therefore, hey Arjuna, be a yukta. You are a yukta. You've been doing good. For you, being a yukta is not difficult at all. But just go, change the paradigm, and then don't be governed by these relationships. Relationships are important, but you today you're facing a situation where you have to do something. You have to kill your own guru. Guruji ko marna hai. This is the kind of situation he is in. Therefore, don't worry. You do what is to be done. Guruji is on the wrong side, and so do you want to be on the right side or the wrong side? That is the only question you have to ask. Okay. Therefore, be on the right side, be a yuktaha. Let's translate the shloka. The one who is endowed with karma yoga. So that karma yoga is not mentioned specifically. In the previous shloka, yoga yuktaha was mentioned. Here yoga the word is not there. Therefore, you can put the word karma yoga in parenthesis, brackets. The one who is endowed with karma yoga, yuktaha, comma, giving up the results of actions, karma phalam tyaktva, comma, gains a composure, shantim apnoti, gains a composure, born of a commitment to a life of karma yoga. Born of a commitment to a life of karma yoga. Naishtikim. Full stop. Within brackets. Whereas, on the other hand, the one who is not committed to a life of karma yoga, ayuktaha, ayuktaha tu, within brackets, the one who is not committed to a life of karma yoga, comma, led by desire, kama karena, led by desire, comma, is bound, nibadhyate, is bound, comma, being attached to the results of actions. Phale saktaha, being attached to the results of actions. The one who is endowed with karma yoga, giving up the results of actions, means what? Giving up results of actions means giving up the commitment to the results of actions, gains a composure born of a commitment to a life of karma yoga. Full stop. Whereas the one who is not committed to a life of karma yoga, led by desire, is bound, being attached to the results of action. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Anirudh. Sarvakarmani manasa.
Sarvakarmani manasa.
Sanyasyaste sukham vashi.
Sanyasyaste sukham vashi.
Navadvare pure dehi.
Navadvare pure dehi.
Naiva kurvanna karayan.
Naiva kurvanna karayan.
Sarvakarmani manasa.
Sarvakarmani manasa.
Sanyasyaste sukham vashi.
Sanyasyaste sukham vashi.
Navadvare pure dehi.
Navadvare pure dehi.
Naiva kurvanna karayan.
नैव कुर्वन्न कारयन्.
Yeah. So now for the next few verses, Bhagavan will shift to Jnana Yoga again. And so that Jnana Nishtha will be elaborated. This chapter is called Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Karma Sannyasa is the topic of this chapter. And so again, Sannyasa and Karma Sannyasa, Sarva Karma Sannyasa, and so Jnanena Karma Sannyasaha. Therefore, that Jnana Nishtha will be talked about here also. Sannyasa, again, remind ourselves. Renunciation of karma. Physically renouncing karma, renouncing duties, physically renouncing duties is there. So that is our ashrama sannyasa, where one person goes through a ritual, and then becomes a sannyasi and takes on a set of clothes which are ochre robes, orange in color, and that person literally has no Vedic duties to perform. No duties. No more duties towards family. I mean, today, in today's world, sometimes Swamiji will give sannyasi to people who have responsibilities also. I know many Swamis who are taking care of their parents, one parent or two parents. Okay, I know in certain cases, Swamiji will give sannyasi. Okay, you take care of them, and you are a sannyasi. So, be like live like a sannyasi, but take care of your parents who need help, and etc. So that kind of situation I've seen, and so we have to interpret these things based on our current lifestyles and the way things happen today. And so sannyasi has no duties, no Vedic mandates, definitely no longer any rituals and things like that are not there. And so that is one way of giving up karma, Vedic karma. The other way is what? Jnana means by knowledge, knowing that Atma is Akarta. Because Krishna has already said before, Nahi kaschit kshanam api jatu tishtatya karma krit, right? Which is that shloka, chapter number 3. So, number 5, 3-5. Nahi kaschit kshanam api jatu tishtatya karma krit. Nobody can remain even for a minute, for a second without doing karma. That also is there. Therefore, how can karma ever be given up? That question should arise. And so, the answer is pretty straightforward. The answer is that karma can therefore only be given up cognitively. Cognitively means by knowledge. Jnanena eva sarva karma sannyasa. We've seen this before. By knowing that Atma is not the doer, then all actions are given up, all results are also given up. Okay. So this is clear. And the only way to, if somebody says the sun is not revolving around the earth, if somebody says, how do you even imagine, how can a child know that? A child cannot appreciate it. And all this rotation, revolution, all these have to be taught, and suddenly it strikes you. Yeah, I know why. I know why I'm seeing a sunrise. I know why. And so the same way here also, actions happen. Guna guneshu vartante. We saw that earlier. Actions happen through the sense organs, through the body, and through the mind. But then, manasa sanyasya. Look at that. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasya aste. 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 This asanam comes from this root aste. eyes, one remains having given up all karmas. How given up all karmas? Manasa sanyas. Manasa sanyas. So by the mind, means by the buddhi, by understanding Atma, by understanding the reality of Atma, by understanding the reality of Ishvara, by understanding the reality of the Jiva, of the self, and of the Jagat, and by understanding the relationships between these, by that, sanyasya, manasa sanyasya, sarva karmani. Look at that, manasa sanyasya. Very, very clear that knowledge has to happen, and that happens only in the mind. And so, manasa sanyasya means jnanena sanyasya, jnanena, by knowledge. Sukham aste. Sukham aste. The person remains happy. Happy. Aste. Okay. Another word is given here. Vashi. Vashi. Vashikarana. Vasha. Vasha means control. Vasha means in the spell of something. So I am in control. I control my children. What they do, what they study, when they sleep, when they get up, everything is in my control. Suppose I say. Okay, that's called that person is a Vashi. Okay. Whatever, if I have some things in my control, then I am a Vashi with respect to those things. Correct? And I think I am in control of the children until the child comes home and says, Mom, meet my girlfriend. And so until what is this? And then you look around and this. What look around? You have not seen movies or what? Why do you have to look around? Someday your son is going to have a girlfriend. Someday your daughter is going to have a boyfriend. What look around? So it happens to me, I'm shocked. Why you should be shocked? You enjoyed all movies where girlfriends were there, boyfriends were there, and this and that. Everything was there. You enjoyed all those movies. Now this is also a movie only. And you have to enjoy it. No, why? This, what? You didn't tell me. What is this? So suddenly you realize everything was in control. Now the whole thing is breaking apart. My life is breaking apart. Life was never, life cannot break apart. Life is life, that's all. And so here Krishna says, this person, Yuktaha, in the previous shloka, Yuktaha, here that person is called a Vashi. And in control of things. My God, Yukta is in control of things. I also, tell me how I can be in control of everything. I also want to be in control of everything. You know, things are just out of control these days, pandemic and all that. And so Vashi, here he says Vashi, and Vashi means, of course, Karma Yogi. Karma Yogi is in control. You see, you can't be in control of your children. That I think most parents recognize after their children are growing up or have grown up, whatever, whenever. And so I can't control my children. I thought I could control my wife or husband when I was married. That I think, that dream I think must have been proved as a dream shortly. If not, Swamiji would say, the husband is trying hard to control the wife, and the husband is 70 years old, still trying to control the wife. And the wife is still trying to control the husband. It's 70, 75, still going on. And so this control never happens. And there's no need to control also. And so you can't control all family members. You can't control politicians. Control is out of question. In our Janma, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. So despite all the best voting patterns and this and that, still somehow there is something lacking. So things are not in control. What can you control? Now come back to ourselves. Finally, we became philosophical, after 60. I can't control anything. So then Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita makes, now we all become philosophical. And this Ayuktaha, that fellow also can be a philosophical fellow, it's a good way to say, to not do anything, take initiative, not take responsibility. Arey, nothing is in your hands. Bhagavan ke haath mein hai sab. Everything is in God's hands. And so it appears as though this fellow has studied a lot, and Bhagavan ke haath mein hai, uske haath mein chhod do. And so, but what about you? You are supposed to, what about all your responsibilities? That also Bhagavan ke haath mein chhod do or what? And so this philosophically, we become philosophical when we are 50, 60 and all that. But then here, This Vashi, this person is a Vashi because that person is a Karma Yogi. That person is not relatively unaffected by what happens. Therefore, that person is a Vashi. And Vashi means what? Hey, I can only control my senses, my body. Maximum, that's all I can. Can I master my sense organs? Yes, I can. That is where the difficulty lies. And therefore somebody says, hey, you master yourself, you are the master of the entire world. That statement means what? That means, hey, nothing in the world can move you, not can shake you, can create panic in you. That is the meaning of being a master of oneself. That is the thesis of Sri Krishna. And so he uses the word Vashi here. And look at that. Navadware pure dehi. The word he uses is dehi. So there are two nouns in this word. Subject is Vashi. That person Yuktaha is a Vashi, and that person is a Dehi. Dehi. Dehi means what? One who is living in this Deha. One who indwells this Deha, this body. That Dehi. Navadware pure Dehi. Okay. That person is described as one who lives in this 9-gated city. Pura. Pura means city. Puram. Puram is city. And Navadwara Pura, a city which has 9 gates. City which has 9 gates. And referring to this body, 9 gates of the body. What are the 9 gates of the body? 2 eyes, let's count. 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 apertures, 4, and then mouth, 2 ears, and then 2 apertures down below excretory organs. So that's 2. That is 9. I got 9. Okay. So 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and then mouth, and then 2 apertures at the bottom. So you got 9. Navadwara. So a city, a gated city, which has 9 gates. That is the Shastra's way of telling this city, referring to this body. Now, why should everybody lives? Everybody is a Navadwara Pure Dehi only, not just a Karma Yogi. Well, why does Bhagavan say that? Well, because if you ask somebody, where do you live? They don't say, I live in a 9-gated city and all that. They say, I live in this Coimbatore. They say, I live in the US. I live in this city. Oh, you also live there. Okay, where are your children going to college, school? Oh, going here, going. This is our definition of living. And so we have equated ourselves to be the body and senses. And therefore, this body is residing in this city. That is a correct statement. And so everybody else has confused the self to be the body. And therefore, here, Dehi is not the body. Deha is the body. Dehi is somebody who is in the body. Correct? Who is in the body. So she's telling us there is a call forwarding option, because she knows that this phone ringing, I stop whenever the phone rings, and the call forwarding option is there on the cell phone, but I don't know it's there in the landline. I don't think it's possible, but anyway, you can see that. So the word Dehi comes right there. Am I a Deha or am I Dehi? I have to decide. Am I the body or I am the one who is in the body? Correct? So here, Dehi. Therefore, the person who knows I am Dehi, I am not Deha. Such a person is referred to here, who is Navadware Pure, who lives in this 9-gated city. And what about that person? Naiva Kurvan, Na Eva Kurvan, Na. The way to split this is Na Eva Kurvan, Na Karayan. That person remains Aste, Sukham Aste. He remains happily. He or she remains happily. Naiva Kurvan, not doing anything at all. Kurvan, the word Kurvan we've seen before. Present continuous, I said. Where did we see Kurvan? Which loka would that be? Let's look at this 4th chapter, 21. Nirashiryata chittatma. Okay. Nirashiryata chittatma. Tyakta sarva parigraha. Shariram kevalam karma. Kurvanna apnoti kilbisham. Kurvan. There also we saw Kurvan. Kurvan means while doing, present continuous, while doing. And we saw it, we are seeing in the 7th shloka also we saw in this chapter. Yoga yukto munir brahma. No, yoga yukto vishuddhatma. Vijitatma jitendriyaha sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvan api na lipyate. So very important, kurvan api. So therefore we should not think moksha means you have to just drop everything that you do. Wrong idea. Bhagavan Krishna never gives that idea. So kurvan api, even while performing actions. Okay. So, and of course, that kurvan api was elaborated on in 8 and 9. We saw that Pashyan, Shrinvan, etc. Correct. So Pashyan, Shrinvan. So it's a very peculiar form in Sanskrit. So Shatru Pratyaya. So present continuous form of a verb. And so Pashyan, Shrinvan, Sprishan, Jigran, Etani Sarvani, Kurvan. So that Kurvan, present continuous. And so the person knows very well that actions are happening. Yes, will by me perhaps, but I, Atma, is not a doer. And doer is I, but I am not the doer. The body is I am not the body. Body is Mithya, I am Satyam. Okay, this we've seen before. And so, knowing that, Manasa Sanyasya, that Vashi, that Yuktaha, that Dehi, Sukham Aste, remains happily. So let's translate this shloka here. So explaining that Jnana Nishta, what can that knowledge do to us? Let's translate this. The indweller of the physical body, Dehi, the indweller of the physical body, comma, the one who has self-mastery, Vashi, or self-controlled. Swamiji doesn't like to use the word control because control generally means controlling children, controlling this, controlling that. So there's an anxiety associated with control. And so one who has self-mastery, Vashi, comma, having renounced all actions mentally by knowledge in parenthesis, having renounced all actions mentally, Manasa Sanyasya, that is the only way to renounce actions. Okay, comma, remains happily, Sukham Aste, remains happy. In the 9-gated city, Navadware Pure, in the 9-gated city. Within brackets, the body. Neither performing action, na eva kurvan, neither performing action, nor causing others to act, karayan, nor causing others to act. I did not explain karayan. So we can do two things, either we do something or we make somebody else do something. This happens. So driving, either we drive our car or we sit in the back seat and then drive the driver, correct? And then drive the driver crazy also. Don't do this, don't do that. No, left. I told you left, not this left. This left is very congested. You should have taken the next left. So just drive the person crazy. This is called karaya. So that's a both. So that's why they say in this criminal cases, they are looking for the kingpin. Okay, this person committed the act, committed the murder, but who was behind? Was there anybody behind? They look for that, and very difficult to find that person. That's why a lot of time is taken. Who is behind this crime like that? So karayan, kurvan na karayan. Because we may think, oh, Atma doesn't do, but it makes all the body and everything do, that thought can come. And so Krishna says, no, Atma doesn't make anybody do, including the body. Atma is a poor thing, just sits around, that's all, cannot do anything. Therefore, the indweller of the physical body, Kama, the one who has self-mastery, having renounced all actions mentally by knowledge, remains happily in the nine-gated city, namely the body, neither performing action nor causing others to act. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.